Hi, everyone. I'm Erica Flynn, and this is Living Hypnotically, where we explore the benefits and application of professional hypnosis with professional hypnotists. And today we have I have the honor of interviewing Greg Newton. And Greg is a fantastic master hypnotist and registered hypnotherapist in Washington State. Welcome to the program, Greg. Great to have you here today.
Thanks, Erica.
Can you tell us about how you got started in hypnosis? I know there was a kind of like an aha moment, and that's kind of where I want to drop us in. You had an experience that really helped you decide to become a hypnotist or kind of led you to this place that we're at right now. Let's start with that.
Yeah, absolutely. So, given people that know my background, going into hypnosis and becoming a hypnotist definitely does, people are really shocked. So,
They're
I had
shocked
it.
that you're a hypnotist.
Oh, yeah. They're like, what is going on? So,
Why? Like, what was your previous?
I spent about 35 years in IT, largely in product management and cybersecurity, and a very, very stressful job, in fact.
And people
Uh,
don't consider that close to hypnosis, kind of like my experience in software. They were like, "Are you kidding me? Like, you're quitting to become a hypnotist?"
there is actually a lot of parallels in terms of the thinking. So a lot of stuff is translated, oddly enough.
But a lot of people don't see it. Right? I
Like
think
the
that is weird.
it's kind of like the parallels between being a good musician and being a good software developer. There's a lot of stuff that translates.
Pattern matching, right?
Yeah.
There's kind of the concept of executable programs
Mhm.
and energy management and all sorts of stuff that crossover for sure.
So hypnosis is something I started to use as a solution to a problem I was having. I had a traumatic event happen last year where I had a couple of very severe concussions and ended up with what was essentially an undiagnosed TBI. We
Okay.
didn't realize this later on. And as a result of that TBI, one of the side effects was that I ended up months later with incredibly severe tinnitus. It was affecting my mental health. It essentially ended up to where I really couldn't do my job. I couldn't sleep.
What's that experience like? So it's an internal ringing. I know you didn't have it before, and then you have this trauma, and now there it is. It's like this sound
Mhm.
constantly interrupting your flow of thinking, right?
It is. It showed up just one day, and
Okay.
trying to figure out what is it. I thought it was a medication I was on. I went off of that. I thought it was a stress I was under. I had an incredibly stressful job. Okay, you need to stop this stressful life. Air paramedics got called to my house. I passed out one day. Really bad stuff.
Very
So,
serious. Your
oh
body is
yeah,
really responding to the stress of the injury. Very.
hypnosis saved my life. Honestly, it really did. I can't be grateful enough for it. But
Tell us how that worked. Tell us the part, how we get
so,
there.
so the tinnitus just shows up. And what tinnitus is, for those of you who haven't experienced it, is as Erica said, is that it is this invasive signal. To call it a noise isn't really quite right. It's like a signal that doesn't come from anywhere, and you can't plug your ears, you can't make it go away, and it's like it's just there. And this started to happen around Christmas. It was awful. To say I was suicidal is not an exaggeration. I honestly was, and that's just not who I am. So I was trying everything. I was trying every witch doctor cure you could think of.
And you're smart, right? So like you're looking at all of the options. You
Oh, and
probably,
I have money and resources
yeah, I
too.
was going to say money and resources to pay for things. Yeah.
So I even buy this. I find this $5,000 device I buy because it's not covered by insurance. It involves, and it's actually proven it's like the most effective device on the market. It involves like this device you put on your head. You listen to these isotonic tones. You stick this electrode in your mouth. It has like all these receptors on your tongue. You get electric shocks put through you a couple of hours a day,
Well,
and you do that for weeks, and it made no difference. And so, again, Erica said I'm smart, or at least people tell me I am. Sometimes I don't think that's really true. And I know something about neuroplasticity and changing things, and I start researching, and I find, actually, oddly enough, Cascade Hypnosis Center. And I learn about hypnosis, and this is earlier in the spring. And I decide, well, I'm going to fix myself.
when you're standing on the edge of the cliff and nobody else, you've tried everything, you got to
Nothing's
take the
working.
reins, right?
I'm going to the best specialist I can find. I will stop and I'll do anything. I've left my career at this point. I'm desperate. So around that time, I've seen the advertisements for training and I've just missed the cohort. I think it was in April,
Okay.
how to become a hypnotist. And I saw Erica's video and I started to research it and I was floored that really one of the nation's leading schools for this is in my backyard. Like I can just drive up there. And there's another class in a few months. So I start learning some self hypnosis and I start applying this. Now it's having some success. And I just can't believe this. I was kind of on the fence about joining, honestly. And then I get really excited. So I'm having more and more success. So by the time class starts, I'm finding I'm having relief, and I ride motorcycles. Like this is what I do. I'd love to ride motorcycles. I did a 7,000-mile trip earlier this year going across the entire country. I did it in April. It was freezing, but it was brutal for me because my tinnitus was in full swing. I had the engine humming. There's nothing you can do to tune it out. It's awful. I'm not at this moment, I'm not experiencing it at all. Like it's complete like now and that's odd because I'm talking about it, and that would usually bring it right up, and I would be in tears almost. Like it would be bad. Now, what kicked it into high gear were the techniques that I learned in five path
Mhm.
and being able to do the work in that and working with clients. And then in seven path, which I do every day, it's just even before I got to class, the startup stuff and doing seven path before getting to class blew my mind. But living it afterwards has been transformative. Like I can't imagine living in it any other way now.
That is fantastic. What do you think changed for you? Can you tell maybe some of the specific aspects that have been shifted or have transformed?
So the way that I respond and to say who I is a little different because I'm in touch with a different part of myself. There was a friend of mine who she's 80 years old and her and I meet at church usually once a week and sometimes I speak there. And she said, well, I used to think, well, she didn't have a nice opinion of me. Let's just say that. And she's known
Oh,
me for years.
right.
And she has a glowing opinion of me now. And I'm not sure what it is, but she said, you are speaking from a different part of yourself. And I don't notice these things, but I have all of these people coming up to me unprompted, saying stuff about me that have known me for years that have just gushed over this different person that they see. And so other people are noticing this about me, and not so much me. But what I'm noticing is that whoever me is, it's not just my conscious mind that is participating now. It's kind of like I don't respond the way I used to stress, or what I think of as stress isn't stressful. I don't seem to have this disconnection with things I think are happening, right? I'm more in touch with what's really going on. Hypnosis has really opened my eyes to what is real and what is not.
Good job. A lot of our clients have shut off their feelings for a long time for good reason, right? For self-protection, to escape their body, all sorts of things like that. But
To
what happens?
dissociate.
Right. We lose, and we do that in small and big ways. Like I might walk in a room and kind of be, and kind of step back if I'm not, don't really want to be there or something like that. We don't kind of show up fully, but, when we don't get to feel the full experience of the richness of our life. And so many of our clients come in kind of walking in a haze and they're using medicine or some type of drug, right?
Yep,
To feel something, right?
that's right.
To escape. You're operating from a different place in you. And would that be a deeper place or like a more aligned place? Or is it like a homecoming, like what's always
Well,
there? Have you?
it's sort of like when I speak in public and I speak about my feelings.
Mhm.
Um, I know I'm going into hypnosis when I do it. I mean, I know what that feels like now.
Right.
So I know how to prepare. I've done hypnotic cues. I do that with clients. I've done that to myself. And that's what I do. And so I'm really speaking from my subconscious. I'm speaking from how I feel. I'm speaking from my emotions. And so there's less and less of my ego present. I'm not self-sabotaging like I used to. Those things that used to happen don't happen. And I know that's pretty vague, but it's the things that I would do that would upset me don't upset me anymore. And my background is just like many of the clients I see. Too much behaviors. I used to drink too much, eat too much. I used to spend too much. I used to, be very controlling. Just all of these things that were not good.
And what about now? Are you like with the tinnitus and resolving that? Have you applied some of this to the drinking and eating, and are you finding similar success?
Absolutely. In fact, I've got your book here in my office in the other room, my reception
Which
area.
one, reprogram your weight? That one right
Yeah,
there.
reprogram your weight, which I see on your wall. I'm well familiar with. Yeah, it's fantastic. It's been my family. I come from a family of people that all struggled with their weight. Lap band surgery, gastric bypass, you name it. GPL-1 medication. Right now, I think at some point I was about 150 pounds heavier than I am now. I could stand to lose another 10,
Okay.
which I have no worry that that's happening because I don't compulsively eat. I don't sit there and snack. I know what my triggers are. I know that I used to do this because this is sort of the well-worn groove of why I would eat when I watch television.
So
And
now you know how to change a habit.
yeah,
Now
and
you
I
know how
and
to
I don't do that
notice
anymore.
the
Yeah.
junk. So we don't accumulate more guilt. We don't accumulate more like feelings like we're not exactly acting the way we really want to. And once we start acting the way we do really want to, I have a client this last week who was his biggest issue was smoking because of the health reasons, the obvious health reasons that everybody cares about, but also because he was hiding it from his family. And
Yeah.
that he felt more bad about that because he would make an excuse to, oh, I have to go to the store. He was smoking at work because his colleagues were. And so all of those little accumulated kind of dings were a heaviness that he had to experience moment by moment. And it was just like unnecessary, right? To
Mhm.
daily do something that was almost like adding to the heaviness. So you stopped doing that.
Yeah. And that wasn't why I sought out hypnosis. I was trying to, and this has been the experience I've had with my clients. They came in for one thing. I came in to get rid of literally the noises in my head.
Right.
I didn't sign up to be a hypnotist, but this is what I want to do for the rest of my life because of what I get to give to people. I didn't expect to have all these other benefits. I honestly didn't. But I also wasn't quite aware that these things were wrong. That's the other thing. I had no idea.
Right. You didn't know that they could be better. You didn't know there was anything
No,
wrong with the way
this is
that
normal.
doing
They,
them.
aren't you supposed to be like uptight and just sort of
Right.
irritated with everybody's performance and nobody's, and everybody's just sort of wrong and like, isn't that normal?
Right. Well, that
Oh,
type
you
of
guys can probably hear the train and
what?
the noise of the train.
So what have you found? Because when I'm helping people with these types of habits, we're almost always, number one, getting to what we call root cause or root causes, not to make anyone think there's only one, but we're getting at something deeper. And this is kind of what you're pointing at, which is then we have more changes, right? It's like more than what you had thought. And the reason is because when we are kind of releasing stress or limiting beliefs or, that at a deeper level, it positively impacts everything, right? But these same folks still need to gain skill in a different, what we call coping strategies, but it's kind of like those in between moments where maybe we're not just working, driving. It's all those times where people will pick up a cigarette or go have a coffee or some sugar. So, what are you finding for yourself that where in the past you might have eaten or something like that? What are you doing now?
So I use the same thing I use with clients.
Mhm.
So when we look at my presenting issue and their presenting issue, what are the triggers, right? And what are my triggers? So what I found is effective is understanding, is really looking at a cue. What is a reminder that takes you out of sort of the stream of thought you're in right now? Or really what not thinking is really what it is. You're not thinking and getting you to where you are thinking. The conscious mind is in control. So with one of my clients, I use this thumb and forefinger thing, which I didn't come up with. I learned it some
One,
right. This right.
Two
and
finger trigger,
two
the
finger thing.
relaxation.
And it just brings her right back. And she's panicking. And so I use these same techniques. And my first client, she would have panic attacks. And so and it's a somatic technique, hand over heart, and she comes right back down, right? And so I use these same things to remind myself. Mine are I don't use anything physical. Mine are more of a mental mantra thing, right? And they're things I learned before I did the in-person training, all stuff that were taught to us about, oh, well, I do that. Things where I might get frustrated driving in a car, things where I might get frustrated in other areas. And it's simple stuff, but it's very powerful. And I found that really to work as long as I apply it. Early on, I wasn't so good at that, but Seven Path reinforces those things because that negative self dialogue is just gone. It's just gone.
That's really important. There's a lot of negative self-talk that goes unchecked, and that creates a lot of noise. And noise is like fog, and it's stress, right? All of those things kind of create that type of sensation in the mind. We call it chaos. We don't have clarity, but stress absolutely adds to that. Hypnosis is one of the best ways to clear that up because we do kind of take the thinking mind offline for a moment. So that's fantastic. Let's talk about one of your clients. Do you
Yeah.
share a client win with us?
Yeah. Gosh, there's several that come to mind, but that have just very unexpected, but amazing journeys. There is one that I'm thinking of right now, and she came to me to quit vaping.
Okay.
Her history, just for some background, she's got a history of drug use and alcohol use, and she is 18 months sober. Congratulations. Now, about 2 weeks after she started coming to me for sessions, she was progressing pretty well. She doesn't have custody of any of her children. And this has been an ongoing issue where her children have been ripped away from her over her life. She's lost 4 or 5 of them, mainly because being a drug user just didn't really work in terms of being able to be a fit mother. So, but she's not at that stage anymore. Now, her child that was 10 years old and she didn't have custody of, the custodial parent passed away all of a sudden. And that custodial parent was in his 70s and she's a bit younger. And because of the laws here in the state of Washington, she becomes the custodial parent. That's the way the law works. But she'd never felt empowered to go after things because every time she's done that in the past, the law has basically slapped her down. People with
Yeah.
more money and attorneys have beaten her up.
Disappointed over and over.
She's a woman who's basically been steamrolled her whole life. And so we took kind of a diversion in our sessions. Instead of focusing so much on vaping temporarily, we focused on her voice and being able to speak for herself. As a result, she's not vaping anymore. But we focus on her presentation in court. In fact, I even went to court with her once and saw the transformation. Now, she has her daughter back today. This has all happened within the course of 2 months. She has her daughter back today, something that she would have given up because when she came in here, she couldn't even call a CPS. So she was terrified of what would happen. She couldn't call a wellness check because she didn't know where her daughter was, even though she had guardianship of her. Like all of these things. And so in doing the work with her, her confidence has changed. She now has reclaimed a second daughter that has
Wow.
been taken away from her, where
Good job. Really helped her turn her life around.
she's asserted her basic rights. And it's all, she came because she wanted to stop vaping. We've gone through all 5 phases of 5 path to get there. Her real trigger was loneliness. And when we did her regression work, it's because she had something that she lost that was dear to her when she was 12 years old. There was a deep sense of injustice, and she went directly to substances right at that 10-year young age and didn't stop until she was 52.
Wow.
And now she's free of everything. It's humbling to watch that.
Good job. When we create the environment for people to change and they're ready and want to change and they step into it and they feel safe and comfortable with you, magical things, what we call magical, maybe a year later we'll realize, oh, I see how this all came, but it can feel more than maybe what was anticipated. Although not every single day, but I do expect
Yeah.
this type of thing because clients are often showing up ready for a huge transformation, right? And a lot of times they're kind of ready to release and tired of existing in the way that they had been existing. So they get sick of themselves. They get sick of it, right?
Yeah.
Beautiful. Do you have another client story?
Oh my goodness, yes. So my very first client, my very first paid client, because I did quite a bit of pro bono work, excuse me. She lived maybe about less than 10 miles away from here. I don't want to give up who she is, but I actually she's an author and I have her book in my office. She drove to my office once, six woman in her mid 60s, and she had anxiety, severe anxiety. She had several children, married, severe anxiety, and just needed help. Like it really hampered her ability to go anywhere. I saw her in my office once. After that, it was too much for her to get here. Now, I have accessible parking. It's very easy to like get here and everything. And she was too, and I'm like next to the police station. Like Stanwood, where I'm at, is like probably super, super safe. Like it's utopia here. She parked like a mile away and walked here because she was terrified of I don't know what. She was very anxious. So we worked through most of our sessions over her cell phone, which is not ideal, but it's kind of what she could accommodate. But you've got to do it. You got to meet your clients where they are sometimes. And so her presenting issue around this ended up being around the loss of around the loss of a donkey when she was in her 20s. And because someone was irresponsible and she saw this donkey and the scene was horrific and she relived that, which was hard. She was able to do that in a safe way. And she also had some other things we worked through: mistreatment from her mother, mistreatment from other members of her family, ways that they had shamed. Some things people do to other people can be very cruel. Now, she has no problem leaving the house, moved to Portugal.
I think she has no problem getting it.
I'm on Facebook with her now. She sends me pictures of all these places in Europe she's going to. Like she couldn't go to Marysville. Like I can't emphasize this enough. It's like she's on planes.
She's operating from a new place now too.
Yeah.
Like
She's
you.
like I couldn't see the world, and now she's seeing the world. I'm jealous, honestly.
Good job.
Yeah.
You're surprised.
Like if I'd only known how powerful this was,
Yeah.
it's I'm not the first person people come to see, and I think enthusiastically this has been the reception every single time in one way or another. If I'd only known that's what I hear from clients. It's like if I'd only known.
Yeah, because there's a lot of misperceptions about hypnosis out there.
Yeah.
So a lot of people really do see it the way that it has been portrayed in Hollywood as exclusively the way that we operate. What do you wish everybody out there knew about hypnosis and maybe the misperceptions about hypnosis?
Hypnosis is really within the reach of everyone. A good hypnotist is one that helps you understand how to do it to yourself, right? All I really am temporarily for someone is a coach. That's really what I am. Everything I know how to do, you can learn how to do for yourself. What I'll get good at is reading a bunch of different people and helping them do it quick. Like I just help you shortcut the process. That's really what I'm for.
Yeah. Hypnosis can make it feel effortless, and
Yeah.
that's usually what people want.
Yeah.
So there's a level of like habit that we might call something effortless when it's a habit because we're not actually thinking about it anymore. It doesn't feel like it's habitual. Other things about hypnosis that feel effortless that I think we should be talking about is the effortlessness with which we can forget things because a lot of our clients are coming in with so much kind of heaviness and pain.
Mm.
There might be chronic pain, there might be the relief of a habit, right? Like they remember, like the brain will send them a signal to go smoke because, oh, you'll get this much relief. And so playing on the brain's ability to forget, which is actually the brain's master learning ability to forget so that it can be remembered. Our ability to forget things and suggest hypnotically that it's easy for the brain to forget all of those, whatever it is an effective, highly effective technique. And it gives clients a surprising outcomes because they will come back the next week and they'll be like, Erica, it happened exactly as you said. I went through the whole day, lived my life, woke up, felt pretty good, had what I would consider a normal day. And it wasn't until the end of the day where I forgot that I hadn't felt that pain all day, or I forgot I didn't reach for a cigarette all day.
That's
Right.
right.
And so that concept, the ability for the brain to forget, I think is particularly helpful because of the way that we talk about forgetting. So, you'll have people talk about senioritis or like, oh, I forgot. Almost like forgetting is almost always a bad thing, right? Would you agree that in a large degree, we would consider forgetting to be kind of bad?
It has that connotation that
Yes.
you're somehow deficient if you don't remember something.
Right. And I really want my clients to flip that and say it's actually a master skill for you to be able to forget the things you no longer need. The brain doesn't need that signal going on and on and on, just like you have learned how to forget the signal
It
from.
doesn't serve me. We treat like nuisance pain like it's acute pain. Like I'm not. It doesn't. I don't need that. Like there's nothing to be done about it. It's just nuisance pain. Why? And so why not change the signal? It
Right,
doesn't make like unless there's something to be done medically about it.
right. Right. Really good job. And people will have kind of what I call a mind blow. They'll be so surprised.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And so we can predict this, right? It's going to be effortless because the brain is going to help you forget the things that you no longer need. And then
Mhm.
you'll surprise yourself. And then when it happens, clients have a mind blow. Eric, it happened just like you said. And then I get to say, I wonder what else your brain will do. So you use that very hypnotic suggestion, the word wonder.
Mhm.
That just causes the brain, if you say that to somebody, I wonder what next cool thing your brain will do. That plants a very deep suggestion, right? And the brain's going to start to go, oh, geez, well, what other cool things can we do, right? It might not even be conscious. So, really good job. Can you tell us about the name of your business?
Oh yeah. So it's called Nordvodka Hypnosis. And it's a merging together of two words taken from Norwegian lore, if you will. Nord, which means north, and vodka, which is taken, believe it or not, from Germanic witches. These were women who were considered essentially the healers of their time. They were visionaries. They could kind of understand humans and how they worked. Given the area of Washington that I practice out of, this is sort of appropriate. And given my own background, I'm Norwegian by descent. So that's the inspiration for my business.
Well, cool. Where can people find you? Can you give us the
Yep.
website and the contact?
It's nordvodka.com, spelled NORDVAKA.com. And I'm in Stanwood, Washington, right off of the Amtrak station.
Nice and easy. So I
Hmm.
can just take the train in to see
Yeah.
you enjoy the train ride back.
Oh my goodness, it's beautiful.
It really is stunning.
Yeah.
There's parts of that train that there are no roads, meaning you cannot drive there. You'll only see that part of Washington.
Like,
Awesome. All right, very good. Well, one final question to your listeners, your potential clients, and anybody out there. What do you wish someone who's struggling with habits, old patterns, some of the things that we talked about here today, what do you want to tell them? What do you want them to know?
there is a healthy way out. You don't have to feel that way one more day. You honestly don't. You're not unique. Much as this thing's telling you you are, you're not unique, and there is a solution.
Yeah. There really is. And it doesn't have to be a pill.
No,
And it's really harnessing the power in the mind, which a lot of people don't want us to have the power of our own thinking mind, right? So
right.
for some people, this is kind of the only way out when you, this is how I felt, right? When I was drinking, like I really had to have a completely new way to live.
Hmm.
That's what hypnosis offered me. And people feel like they're at their wits' end and they feel like that all the time. And they're looking for an external solution. This is internal. So, you know,
This goes everywhere I do.
yeah, exactly. Exactly. All right. Very good job. Anything else you want to say before we close today?
Well, Erica, thank you so much for your time. I really enjoyed our talk, and it's good to see you again.
Well, thanks everyone for joining us. I'm Erica Flint, professional hypnotherapy instructor, board certified hypnotist, author of Reprogram Your Way, Can You Be a Hypnotist, Lighter, and Academy of Eternity, which is up there. I absolutely love humans and I love helping people live more freely and happily. So please join me at Cascade Hypnosis at training.com if you'd like to be a professional hypnotist and live hypnotically. Thanks a lot, everyone. Bye for now. Thanks for joining, Greg. It's great to have
Thanks, everybody.
you. Congratulations on all your success and to your clients as well. Bye for now, everyone.